Hey everybody, it's a warm and sunny day in early May. You might notice a little difference about this video. I've actually rented an external microphone in an attempt to improve the sound qualities. In part one, I put logs in the back of my smaller garden to create a little bit of an obstacle for the manure when we end up putting it in there. So I'm going to do the same for the larger garden. So this is the setup I did in part one with my smaller garden. You'll see I have the logs just sitting right behind where the garden ends. So I will be doing that now with the longer garden. So we were finally able to get the load of manure from the local horse farm. So right now we're wheelbarrowing it over to my back garden. So right now I'm just spreading the composted horse manure on my gardens, trying to get an even coverage. Right now this has taken about 3 wheelbarrow loads for this small garden. I had gone over it once, just sparsely, and now I'm adding extra coverage for the spots that didn't have a lot of manure on it. As you can see, I have to sort of work around a few of my perennials that have come up, the chives and the garlic chives. So after I finished spreading the manure, a friend of ours took his rototiller and rototilled the composted manure into the garden so that should there ever be a heavy rain or a lot of wind, that it won't just take all the manure off the top. So while he rototilled, I started shoveling compost into a wheelbarrow ready to take to the front gardens, where I'm going to layer compost, composted manure, and then finally topsoil. After a long, hard day of trucking back and forth to get loads of manure, loads of topsoil, and also wheelbarrowing compost between the back of our property and the front, we finally finished. We filled up this garden with partially decomposed compost and leaves, which we then ran the rototiller over in order to shred them so that they'll be more quick to decompose. So then we covered that with a thin layer of composted horse manure and then covered that with 2 loads of topsoil. So the last thing I'm going to do this weekend is put in my early greens. They're greens that can be planted up to 3 weeks before last frost. Here I'm going to be planting my endive, and then this will be one of my varieties of spinach. With the greens, I've separated the rows into 3 for the endive and 2 for the spinach, so that I can plant one section today, another section next weekend, and then another section the following weekend, and that will give me a harvest that will be prolonged rather than just giving me all of the harvest at once. So I've gone ahead and dug a slight trough, both sections, and now I'll go over and put in my endive seeds. So now I'm going to just cover the trough with the dirt and make sure to pack it down because you don't want a lot of excess oxygen in the soil. So the last thing that I'll do is I'll give it a thorough watering. You really want to soak the soil and surrounding soil pretty well, and what that will do will also help displace some of the excess oxygen that was in the soil from when you were planting the seeds. This is my bloomsdale spinach, so again I carved out a trough and I'll then place the seeds along here. Now you want to try and keep them evenly spaced if possible. Once they grow, if they're too close together, the roots will start competing with the nearby plants, and you won't end up with as productive plants as you could get if they were more evenly spaced. Just to try something different this time, I'm going to water the trough before I put the soil back. As the season progresses, I'll see if either of these rows act differently, and if they do, then I'll know that watering before I put the soil back is probably a better idea. Finally, something that many gardeners might forget, but that you really want to do, is label your rows so that when the seeds finally do start coming up, you actually know what they are. I have a label right here just saying spinach, and a label there saying endive. So that's it for part 2 of preparing my outdoor gardens. Thank you for following along with me, and I hope you've learned something or taken away something from this. If you did like it, please let me know by liking and subscribing, and stay tuned for more videos. I've already got 2 more planned out. The first one will be an update on my indoor plant nursery. They've just exploded since you last saw them. My second video will be a video on the challenges you might face when planting seeds indoors and how you can actually overcome those challenges. So I hope that you guys have a good week, and I'll see you later. Bye.